History lost, decks past, but in this series, we revisit older decks to see if they can be brought back to the forefront of the meta. We'll break down what made these decks great, what no longer holds up, and how modern builds can give them new life. By exploring different variants and tech choices, we'll tune each deck to fit different playstyles. Let's see if these classics still have what it takes for meta teching. What's up, guys? My name is TechnoTuner, and today we're back again with another episode of Meta Teching. Today we're going to be taking a look at Speedroid. Given that the deck is going to be released here shortly in the Arc 5 decks, I wanted to take some time to look at one of the fan favorite decks. Speedroid, out of all three of them, has the most capability to be mixed with other archetypes to allow you to basically go into win synchro or win monsters a lot easier. Now, do note a lot of these decks will have 37 to 38 cards in them. There's going to be 3 extra slots here fitting in the Durum Knocker one. Basically, it's the new card that makes Speedroid a lot better as well. It is a really good card, and I do recommend putting it in for these lists. Now, as we're going to see here, these decks are going to be a lot of fun, a lot of good capability here, and may see some point adjustment depending on what comes in with these Arc 5 decks. Now, we'll go through these. I do have a set few that we'll go through from the base Speedroid all the way down to some more well-known stuff, but these are just some ideas that can give you a starting point for deck building when looking to build into Speedroid. Let's go ahead and hop right into it, and we'll take a look at it a little bit more. All right, going ahead and starting off, we're going to be starting with the pure basic Speedroid. So Speedroid, we're going to be playing 3 Speedroid Terratop. This is basically if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. When this card is normal or special summon, you can add a Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand, except Speedroid Terratop. You can only use this effect of Speedroid Terratop once per turn. So Speedroid Terratop is basically our way to get into our other Speedroids, such as Takum Tomborg. Do note I am playing him at 2 in the more pure build, and I'm going to reorganize this here, make it a little bit easier for you guys to see in general. But attacking Tomborg is if you control a win monster, you special summon this card from your hand. You contribute this card, special summon Speedroid Tuner from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon from the rest of this turn except win monsters. You can only special summon Speedroid Takum Tomborg once per turn this way. This card is very beneficial for the combo as it gets you into other things such as like Red-Eyed Dice, or it can get you into others such as Den Daiko Duke, or even into other cards such as Ultra Hound or Speedroid Win Synchron. But going over Red-Eyed Dice, when this card is normal or special summon, you can target one Speedroid monster you control except Speedroid Red-Eyed Dice and declare a level 1 to 6. It becomes that level until the end of this turn. So basically some level modulation, allowing you to go into certain synchros a lot easier than you would expect. Then we have Double Yo-Yo. When this card is normal summon, you can target one level 3 or lower Speedroid monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Den Daiko Duke. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon Speedroid Tuner from your hand or graveyard, except Speedroid Den Daiko Duke. You only use this effect of Speedroid Den Daiko Duke once per turn. You have Card Turbo. If you control a win monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except win monsters. You can banish this card and one Speedroid monster from your graveyard. All win monsters you currently control gain 800 attack until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Speedroid Card Turbo once per turn. Then, of course, we have Ultra Hound. When this card is normal summoned, you can send one Speedroid card from your deck to the graveyard during your main phase, except the turn this was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Speedroid monster in your graveyard, shuffled into the deck. If you do, special summon Speedroid Synchro monster from your extra deck with the same level, but a different name, but negates effects. You can only use this effect of Speedroid Ultra Hound once per turn, giving you further capability to go into your extra deck and basically get some recursion back into your deck as well. The others that we're playing are Colonel Clackers. It's Pendulum effect. You can banish one Speedroid card from your graveyard, place one Speedroid Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum zone. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except win monsters. You can only use this effect as Colonel Clackers once per turn. Its monster effect is, if this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon Speedroid Colonel Clackers as a tuner from your hand, deck, or graveyard during damage calculation. If your clear wing monster battles while this card is face up in your extra deck, you can banish this card, and if you do, that monster gains 700 attack. You can only use each effect of Speedroid Colonel Clackers once per turn, turning your 2500 into a 3200, which can further help you beat over certain monsters. Then, of course, we got Marble Machine. Once per turn, it's for its pendulum effect. You can, when your defense position monster is targeted for an attack, you can change it to face-up attack position. Also cannot be destroyed by battle this turn, even if this card leaves the field. Its monster effect. When this card is normal summoned, you can activate this effect. Add one Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand. Also cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except win monsters. You can only use this effect of Speedroid Marble Machine once per turn. Basically another searcher in the deck, which can help you get to a lot of your combo line. Speedroid Wing Synchron is really cool, as this is basically the main deck component that is a reminiscent of Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Once per turn, you can destroy this card and one level 2 Wind Pendulum monster card in your Pendulum Zone. And if you do special summon one Clearwing Synchro Dragon from your extra deck, this is treated as a Synchro Summon. Also, for the rest of this turn, cards in your Pendulum Zones cannot be destroyed by card effects, and you cannot special summon except Wind monsters. Monster effect of this card is added to your extra deck face up, and you control 2 or more different types of wind synchro monsters. You can send one Speedroid spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Speedroid Wing Synchron once per turn, basically giving you further capability to go into your Speedroid decks and being able to go into your Clearwing Synchro a lot easier depending on the plays that you can do. Now, do note that you do have other cards here as well in the spells, such as Speedroid Scratch, allowing you to send one Speedroid card from your hand to the graveyard to add a Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate one Speedroid Scratch per turn, so basically this is a ditch and add, which can help. But we also do have Speedroid Wheel. Discard one card, roll a 6-sided die, then special summon from your hand and or deck one or two Speedroid monsters whose total levels equal the result and negate their effects. If you do not special summon, you lose 500 life points equal to the result times 500. You can only activate one Speedroid Wheel per turn, so basically giving you further capability to go through that and get into the monsters that you need to utilize in the deck. So this can help you furthermore with breaking boards or also setting up plays for further extension. Now, the other cards as well that we're playing here, we're playing some decent hand traps. So 3 Ash, 2 Droll, 3 Milcharmy Fualos, 2 Perulia, 3 Imperm. But we also do have Triple Tactics Talent and Call by the Grave. But some Speedroid cards that we do have in the trap slots are Speedroid Clearwing Wonder. Target cards your opponent controls up to the number of different monster types among the wind synchro monsters you control. Destroy them. If your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, except during damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Then target one wind synchro monster you control. Banish it, then return it to the field. You can only use each effect of Speedroid Clearwing Wonder once per turn. And then again, we have Speedroid Duplicate. Banish one wind monster from your graveyard, then target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. During your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target one level 2 or higher Speedroid monster you control, reduce its level by 1, and if you do, special summon this card as a normal monster. Machine, Tuner, Wind, level 1, attack 0, defense 0. This card is not treated as a trap. You can only use this effect to Speedroid Duplicate once per duel, so basically giving you an extension as a monster if you need it. Now, the other cards that we're playing, of course, are the 2 Clearwing Synchro Dragon. It's a really cool card, gives you some reminiscence back to Stardust Dragon, but in the case of protection, this is more of a monster negation, to where when once per turn, when a level 5 or higher monster activates this effect on field, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Once per turn, when a monster effect is activated that targets a level 5 or higher monster while on field, and no other cards, quick effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. If this card's effect destroys a monster, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack until the end of this turn, which is really good for the deck and a good base standard. The next ones that we're going to be playing 2 of are Crystal Clearwing over Synchro Dragon, which is 2 tuners plus or 1 tuner synchro monster plus 1 Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Must be synchro summoned once per turn when another card or its effect is activated. Quick effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. And if you destroyed a monster, this card gains attack equal to that monster's original attack until the end of this turn. If this face-up synchro summon card in its owner's control leaves the field by an opponent's card, you can special summon a Clearwing monster from your extra deck, giving you further capability to go into Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. 1 tuner synchro monster plus 1 non-tuner Clearwing monster. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect during damage step, except during damage step, quick effect, you can activate this effect until the end of this turn. This face-up card is unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's monsters. Also, this card gains attack equal to that opponent's monster's original attack. Once per turn, when a spell or trap card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. If this card is synchro summon, if the synchro summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can add 1 wind monster from your deck to your hand, giving you some good recursion in case this falls. You do have a capability to get back into the game. And of course, we got High Speedroid Chambara. This card can make a second attack during each battle phase. At the start of damage step, if this card battles, it gains 200 attack. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Speedroid cards, add it to your hand. You can only special summon High Speedroid Chambaras once per turn. We're also following that up with High Speedroid Clearwing Rider. 1 wind tuner plus 1 more non-tuner wind synchro monsters. Once per turn during your opponent's main phase, you can roll 6-sided die, shuffle wind monsters from your graveyard into the deck. From your graveyard into the deck up to the result, then you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number shuffled. If you do, this card gains 500 attack for each card destroyed by this effect until the end of this turn. During your main phase, quick effect, you contribute this Synchro Summon card, special summon up to 2 level 7 wind Synchro monsters with different names from each other from your extra deck, giving you access to a Clearwing Synchro Dragon, but you also have other cards such as Clearwing Fast Dragon, where it is a Pendulum monster. Its pendulum effect is you send 1 face-up Speedroid tuner and 1 face-up non-tuner monster you control to the graveyard whose totals levels equals 7. Special summon this card from your pendulum zone. You can only use this effect of Clearwing Fast Dragon once per turn. Monster effect, 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner wind monsters. Quick effect, you can target 1 face-up monster opponent controls that was special summoned from the extra deck. Until the end of this turn, change its attack to 0, also negate the face-up monster's effects. You can only use this effect of Clearwing Fast Dragon once per turn. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. Which gives us into the link 2 wind monsters during your main phase. You can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon wind monster. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except synchro monsters. You can banish 1 wind synchro monster from your extra deck, reveal 2 Speedroid monsters with different names from your deck, whose total levels equal the level of that synchro monster. Your opponent randomly picks 1 for you to add to your hand, and you can send the other to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of High Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter once per turn, giving you further capability to get into your normal summons, but we also have High Speed Puzzle as our level 4. We have High Speedroid Kendama as a level 6. We have Higoshia as another level 5. Glider as another level 5. And then we have Quark Shooter as a level 3. Real quick, Quark Shooter, you can activate one of these effects when it's synchro summon, add 1 Speedroid Trap or spell from your deck to your hand. If all monsters or all materials that were used for the synchro summon of this card were Speedroid monsters, and all of them are in the graveyard, special summon all of them. So it gives you further extension. High Speedroid Glider gives you the capability of, if this card is synchro summon, you can target 1 level 7 or lower wind non-tuner synchro monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If your opponent special summons a monster while you control a Clearwing monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard and increase the levels of all your opponent's monsters by 5. So this is a good way to play around Xyz monsters. The other is High Speedroid Higoshia. You contribute this card, increase the levels of all monsters currently on the field by 1 until the end of this turn. This card is in your graveyard, and you control a Speedroid Tuner monster. You can special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except wind monsters. You can only use this effect of High Speedroid Higoshia once per turn. This is another deck that would fit very well with Crystal Winged Dragon as well. So you don't have to play the Higoshia. It's just a good consistency piece if you need it. There is the Kendama. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. You can only use each of the following effects of High Speedroid Kendama once per turn. You can banish 1 machine type monster from your graveyard, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. If this card is in your graveyard and you control no cards, you can special summon this card. You cannot normal summon or set the turn you activate this effect. So while it's a 2200 body, it can cause a little trouble. Then, of course, Puzzle. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles a special summon monster, you can make this card's current attack become double its current attack until the end of the damage step. Once per turn, during the end phase of this card is in the graveyard, because the synchro summon card was sent there from the field this turn, you can target 1 Speedroid monster in your graveyard, except High Speedroid Puzzle, and add it to your hand, giving you further capability for recursion. Now, do note this deck is heavily modifiable. You can go into a lot of different things. You don't even have to run this amount of hand traps. You can run more combo pieces such as Wind Witches or whatever to basically get you to that next level. Now, let's go ahead and hop right into another deck, which I think will be a lot more interesting to see, as it does offer up a lot more capability for the deck and extends the ceiling a little bit higher than what you would expect. All right, speaking of Expanding the ceiling on this deck, we have Radiant Typhoon Speedroid. This deck basically takes the Radiant Typhoon monsters such as Swen, uh, Eldum, and Magala, basically utilizing each as an extender, being able to give you additional plays and extend further into your synchros. Being able to get a level 3 body on board, but also being able to special summon another or add another can really help you get your combos started. While it's also a win deck, it does have a lot of opportunity to get you into Mystical Space Typhoon, which can function as a good spell and trap pop if you need it to deal with your opponent's back row. Now, while MST is in the graveyard, you can special summon these, and it can really help open up a lot of combo capability, especially if you have a tuner but no non-tuners to really work with. While Speedroids do have a lot of good capability here, we are looking to utilize Eldum to basically, when it's normal or special summon, add a Radiant Typhoon monster, accept Eldum from your deck to your hand, or a Mystical Space Typhoon. Eldum is, or excuse me, Swen is basically the reverse of Eldum, where you're going to be adding a spell or trap that's a Radiant Typhoon spell or trap, or a Mystical Space Typhoon when it's normal or special summon. Or with Magala, this one is specific to where if a Radiant Typhoon quick play spell or Mystical Space Typhoon is activated, you can then special summon a Radiant Typhoon monster from your deck with a different name than the monsters you control. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except win monsters. It is basically just a further extender here, which works very well within the deck as a whole, as it is a win level 3. In combination with Speedroid Terratop, Red Eye Dice, and the others, you do have further capability to expand into that, as you can go directly into High Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter to get your additional normal summon to go into your combo, giving you further capabilities to incorporate that as well. You can also go into Puzzle, Chambara, or even Kendama if you need to based on the hand you have. Even then, you can utilize most of your monsters to go into Clearwing Synchro Dragon to start your combos. While this deck does offer up a lot of good capability, it does allow us to also run Dominus Purge, which also functions as another Ash Blossom in the hand, which can give us further capability here to break our opponent's board and prevent them from adding a card, but also giving us the capability to pop one of their cards if needed. Now, do note if you do not have the Dominus Purge, Infinite Impermanence or Effect Veiler works the same. You just have the full capability here of just incorporating another hand trap is what I'm getting at here to further prevent your opponent from playing, but also gives you more capability as well as a whole deck to expand upon the ceiling of this deck and give you further plays for later on. Do note we are still missing the 3 Daruma Knocker, but none of that to worry about, as that card is still new and will be in the decks when you pick them up from your locals here soon. But that's all I have for Radiant Typhoon. Let's go ahead and hop into our next one. So this is a main deck that a lot of people do know about, but it's mainly seen as 2 different decks in function. This deck takes a little bit more for people to really incorporate and know how to work, because the Lyrilusc engine functions on a lot of level 1s and locking you directly into their plays, while Lyrilusc gives you a lot of capability to expand and go into your wind monsters and set up cards such as Ensemble Robin or Thrush or even Starling. You have the further capability there to basically summon these monsters, get them out onto the board, and give you further extension, but it also gives you the possibility of an OTK through Assembled Nightingale and further protection in battle. Now, the other cards that you do have for these level 1 extenders allows you to go into the Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter, or if you incorporate enough into your combo, you can functionally bring out your synchro monsters, because you will be eventually locked into synchros. So you do have to pay attention on how those incorporate and work there. But do note that as you're going through these combo lines, utilizing each of these Lyrilusc monsters, you can utilize them to further diversify your board, but also give you a bit more unique in protection and capability. While we have where Turquoise Warbler, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned from the hand, you can special summon Lyrilusc monster from your hand or graveyard. You can only use this effect, a Lyrilusc Turquoise Warbler, once per turn. Then we follow that up with Sapphire Swallow. If you control a Winged Beast monster, you can special summon both this card and one level 1 Winged Beast monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of Lyrilusc Sapphire Swallow once per turn. All Wind Exceeds monsters that was summoned using this card gains the following effect. If it is Exceed Summon, you can target one Lyrilusc monster in your graveyard, attach it to this card as material. Then you have Cobalt Sparrow. If this card is special summon, you can add one level 1 wing piece monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Lyrilusc Cobalt Sparrow once per turn. A Wind Exceeds monster that was summoned using this card on the field gains the following effect. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Then, of course, we have Barrel Canary. If this card is in your hand, you can target one Lyrilusc monster in your graveyard, special summon both this card and that monster. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except Exceeds monsters. You can only use this effect of Lyrilusc Barrel Canary once per turn. A Wind Exceeds monster that was summoned using this card on the field gains this as a material, gains this effect. This card gains 200 attack. Also, its control cannot switch, so this can help get around some further cards such as Snatch Steal and all those that can steal the monster away, but gives you a little bit more to work with. Then we have Celestine Wagtail. If this card is special summon, you can add one Lyrilusc spell or trap from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Lyrilusc Exceeds monster you control, attach this card to it as material. You can only use each effect of Celestine Wagtail once per turn. This is where we would also incorporate further spells such as Lyrilusc Word Call, taking one Lyrilusc monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. Then you can special summon a Lyrilusc monster with a different name from your hand, so giving you the further capability to start your combo as you need. But it's also just basically a roto for Lyrilusc. And then we have Bird Strike, where Bird Strike is very beneficial because if you control a Lyrilusc monster, you can negate all the effects of face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. So basically turning into a pseudo Dark Ruler no more, but it can still be responded to. However, it is just basically a board negate for your opponent's monsters if they are not paying attention to the Lyrilusc side of the deck. So utilizing these along with the Speedroid monsters, you can further start off your combo and move along into your combo lines a lot easier than what you would expect. Being able to take, say, perfect example here, we go into Turquoise Warbler to summon out Sapphire Swallow into Cobalt Swallow. We can then establish effectively a rubber band shooter, then be able to normal summon a Speedroid Terratop, get into our Tacum Tomborg into a Clearwing Synchro. Whoops, sorry, hit my mic there. Trying to go through the explanation. But basically go through the combo line and still build up your board state, because you can go directly into a level 8 or a level 7 depending on the monsters on the board that you have. So giving you further extension and further playability, you have a lot of capability in this deck as a whole to see the actual combo lines expand and get more intricate, but also offering up a lot more interesting plays through the Lyrilusc line by being incorporated. This is all I have for this version. Let's hop into our next one. So, as a lot of people know, Speedroid as a whole is a very fun deck, and this is something I used to play back in the day, which was Witch Speedoid. These two decks function very well together and are very fun for Genesis as well, giving you the full board capability to run the Mulcharming Swallows and the Perulia. You have the capability to utilize the Wind Witches, such as Freeze Bell, Ice Bell, Glass Bell, and Snow Bell, to go into your synchros and also further extend into other plays. Now, what do each of them do? Well, you have Freeze Bell here, where if all monsters you control are Wind Witch monsters, minimum 1, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect of Wind Witch Freeze Bell once per turn. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can increase this card's level by 1. A Wind Synchro monster that was summoned using this card as synchro material cannot be destroyed by battle. Glass Bell, if this card is no more special summon, you can add one Wind Witch monster from your deck to your hand except Wind Witch Glass Bell. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for us this turn except wind monsters. You can only use this effect of Wind Witch Glass Bell once per turn. Then we have Wind Witch Ice Bell. If you control no monsters, you special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon one Wind Witch monster from your deck, but it cannot be tributed. But you cannot special summon from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect except level 5 or higher wind monsters. If this card is no more special summon, you can activate, or you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent. You can only use each effect of Wind Witch Ice Bell once per turn. And then, of course, we're playing the 2 Wind Witch Snow Bell, where if you control 2 or more wind monsters or no non-wind monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. A wind synchro monster that was synchro summoned using this card as synchro material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So basically making your card into a towers, which is very interesting because this can make Crystal Wing a very problematic card. We're also playing one speed recovery in this build. You don't have to play it. I play it personally because I find it more fun, but it basically allows you to target one Speedroid monster in your graveyard, special summon it. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one Speedroid monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. It's a good way for some recursion, but we are also playing for the Wind Witch side, 3 Wind Witch Chimes. You can target one Wind Witch monster you control, special summon a Wind Witch monster with a different name from your deck in defense position. You can only activate one Wind Witch Chimes per turn. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this card except wind monsters, giving you the capability to go into Winter Bell. One tuner plus one or more non-tuner wind monsters. You can target one Wind Witch monster in your graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that target's level times 200. During the battle phase quick effect, you can target one Wind Witch monster you control, special summon a monster from your hand with a level less than or equal to that monster, but it cannot attack this turn. You can only use each effect of Wind Witch Winter Bell once per turn. Following up with one Wind Witch Diamond Bell. One tuner plus one or more non-tuner wind monsters. If this card is synchro summon, you can target one Wind Witch monster in your graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its attack. You can only use this effect of Wind Witch Diamond Bell once per turn. Once per turn, if your opponent takes battle or effect damage, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. If you control this card that was synchro summoned using only Wind Witch monsters as material, you can use this effect up to twice per turn. So basically, being able to burn in top cards can help very much when looking to build a board state, but can also help control the board as well and put your opponent on a bit of a clock. Now, do note, while this deck does offer up a lot of good capability, and I haven't shown Crystal Wing in any of these slots, you are supposed to be playing Crystal Wing. Feel free to slot it in for any of these that you see fit that best works for you. This Genesis build is something that also is very fun and is something that is very combo intensive, but it also offers up a lot higher of a end board that allows you to further extend into other plays to give you further capability to further break your opponent's board. This is something that I would introduce into newer players that are looking to play a synchro deck that is also something that is more diverse, but offers up a lot of good capability into setting up negates and burn capability as well, while also being a fan Arc 5 theme deck, because this deck will more likely receive more support as time goes on. Anyways, guys, that's all I really have for this whole meta teching episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.